What's the Jason Reitman project?
It's called Men, Women, and Children.
That's out later this year, right?
Yeah, we go to Toronto, I think, in 2 weeks with it. And then I think it opens right like the same week maybe as this movie. And I saw that, and I'm really proud of it.
And what do you plan that?
Well, it's all about...
Men, women, and children?
Yeah, well, it's about men, women, and children. It's very much about sort of intimacy and sex and love during this internet age. And it's, there's some darkness in there for sure. And Adam Sandler and I are married, and we're both sort of looking outside the marriage to sort of fix what's not working in the marriage. And we go to some pretty dark places. This is Adam more in the Punch Drunk Love vein, so that was exciting.
How's it like working with him? I mean...
Great. He's really present, really honest. There's some phenomenal kids in it. Ansel Elgort.
Oh, yeah. Fault in Our Stars.
Yeah, he's great. And Judy Greer, Jen Garner. Like, it's a really good cast, and it's a really big world, so we all play a really important... It's not a wife part. So that's good.
Right up on it.
You're I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I was just going to say, he's in 2 movies up there in Toronto. I'm from Toronto, so...
Oh, you are?
He's got another one called The Cobbler.
I don't even know about that.
Yeah. But I guess maybe he's trying to break out, taken seriously again.
Adam?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's just doing it all, because I was up there the week before, and they're doing that $200 million Pixels? Or some huge, crazy Adam Sandler movie.
Oh, yeah.
So I think he's just keeping all the balls in the air. Yeah.
The thing that always fascinated me about your career is that you are an actress and you blend so well. You're so good at what you do. You blend so well that I imagine that you can go anywhere. You could go to Target. You could go to Wolfgang Puck. Is that your strategy just for people not? It's like you put on the cloak of invisibility or something.
No, I remember one time doing a play in New York and being at the opening night after party, and the woman asked me what I thought of the play. And I was like, I was not only in it, I was the lead of the play. Like it was my story. I was in every scene, but it wasn't like I took off a wig. It wasn't like anything happened. And I was like, it was pretty good.
Maybe she had cheap seats.
No, the theater was off Broadway. It was not a huge theater. I don't know what that is. I'm very grateful for it because it allows me to have my life, and I love to observe people. So I can't be staring at them if they're staring at me in a coffee shop.
I think the average person on the street doesn't realize that kind of visibility is completely courted and completely invited in. That's why I asked you if this was a strategy of yours.
Like courted and invited in, meaning?
Meaning, hey, I'm going to push 18 different products, and this is where I'm going to be, and I'm working with this designer, and I'm a spokesperson.
Well, but you're also talking about people who are really famous, who they want to sell their products. I mean, I don't think anybody wants me to sell their hand soap or anything.
But you become famous by doing that kind of stuff.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I do very much value my life. And, the separation between work and life, it's always a little gray because we bring so much of ourselves to our work. But I very much, I'm not really, I like going to work and then I like coming home. It's not, I don't really thrive on being part of the Hollywood scene. I don't even really know what that is, to be honest with you. So, yeah, it's good. So far I feel like Ron and I are very blessed in that way.
When you see a news report now, you read something in the paper or you see a report on TV, do you think differently about it having done this movie? Sort of like there is a story behind that story?
You know what I've really been struck by is just how much of their lives journalists give to a story. You can spend so much time, and you can literally risk your life to go to places like Syria and, Africa right now, all these places, and the story runs, and then the public doesn't care about it the next day. You know what I mean? They come, it's nonstop on TV, even when there's no new information, there's no new updates, and then when there's a new story, it goes away, and whoever has been covering that story, and people die for it, people's marriages end because they've been over there for so long, and it just really goes away, and it's kind of like a vapor or something, and it feels incredible that people, you guys, devote yourself to getting that truth, even though you know that it will.
Performance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in the theater. For film people, it's always there. Yeah. They can always go back to it.
But again, isn't it a little bit like being? I mean, people are going to talk about this movie, and you're going to do all the interviews and all that sort of stuff. comes out, and then then the public goes on to the next movie.
Yeah,
So is it sort of, I mean, there's a little bit of a parallel there between that.
Oh, sure. I mean, you could get really caught up in this business and think all these things are important, but really you're just like, the movie on October 3rd. You know what I mean? And then there's a next movie that you guys are all sitting here doing this for. Although I do feel it more strongly in the theater, when I work in the theater, or when I go see some extraordinary performance in the theater. Like, you had to have been there that night to see it. You know, like I remember seeing Janet McTeer when I was in my 20s do A Doll's House, and it's seared into my brain forever, more than movies I saw last year. So I guess there's something to that too.
Do you remember when this story broke?
No, not at all. And that's part of the reason I was kind of not only intrigued by the story, but I didn't understand how I knew nothing about it, and it took me a couple days to wrap my brain around the fact that it was actually true. I was Googling it, I was like, this happened, and I know nothing about it, and maybe when it actually happened, you know, I was in college or whatever, but then by the time the CIA, you know, released that 400-page document during the Clinton and Lewinsky scandal, I was very much watching TV and reading the papers then. So
Probably that didn't make it to TV, that one, because Monica Lewinsky was on.
Yeah, it was a real NPR kind of story, and also it wasn't happening to the majority racially of this country, you know. And, you know, I was thinking about it, you know, I saw the movie and then I came back and watched the news, and I'm watching what's going on in Ferguson, and I'm thinking, we don't know anything. We don't really,
No.
I think to piggyback on his question about, do you question the news, I mean, do you think sort of less about it or more now?
Oh, as a result of working on the movie? I mean, right now, because we're talking about it, I think about it more. I think as I get older, I don't, I'm not a news junkie. You know, I'm not binging on it because I just can't do that. You know, my dad is in his 80s, and when you slow down, he sits in front of it all day long, and he texts me every atrocity that happens in the world, you know, because he's watching it. Like, did you hear about this? Did you see this? God, you don't pay attention to anything. He always says to me, and it's not that I don't. I just, you can really become overwhelmed by the amount of it, and yet you really appreciate. You know, I'm kind of a get up, New York Times on the computer, and then I go about my day. I can't keep checking the gadgets. Like Ferguson, I did get a little obsessed with it and was going and looking, but it was the same thing, and I didn't really feel like I was getting any more information on it, and I was only getting more confused by everything, and I didn't understand.
With the public profile that you have, are you urged? Okay, well, I guess the last one. Are you ever urged to take a stand on anything, any cause, or in? You know,
well, I'm raising an African American daughter, so I'm very concerned about the world that she's growing up in, and I'm trying to understand what people's viewpoints are, what the conversations are. She's going to ask me a lot of questions, like if she were 15 right now, she might be asking me what's going on over there, or why are they, you know, this morning I said to my husband, like, why is there a fund for the officer who shot Michael Brown? I said, why is there? I was actually eating dinner, and I saw it, and I just had a moment. I was like, oh, because he needs security. Oh, and like, what is that message? You know, it's just all very, very confusing to me.
But it always seems like most like higher profile actors have charitable causes. They have Darfur.
Sure.
You know,
I mean, I'll say this now, and it's not something I can even understand. But Ron and I, our big charity for years and years was the Somali Mom Foundation. And I don't know if you guys read this year with the scandal with Somali, and that her story wasn't true, and we've been to Cambodia, and we know her, and it's hard to know what to believe, you know, and that got Nicholas Kristof in a whole lot of trouble because he was a champion of Somalis, and they said he didn't really fact check, you know, and this and that, and, you know, we've just been pretty much every year, that's our charity.